Hello, friends and lovers. Welcome back to the Hades. We're going to take out Aspect of Poseidon. Your special dislodges your cast from foes. You also get a passive plus a 50% cast damage bonus. So when you do that, that happens with the cast. Boom. Easy to go, right? And we're going to go for Crush Shot from Aphrodite. And this is like a combo. I mean, you'll see it when it pops up that it is supposed to work well. It's actually quite fun and interesting, but it's actually kind of a challenging build. You know, a lot of cast builds, some of the benefit, or at least part of the benefit, is usually that you don't have to be at very close range to the enemies, but this you kind of need to be. So sort of, I don't know, maybe Glass Cannon. We're still going to do Infernal Soul just because that kind of coincides with the Poseidon Sword the best here. We'll put on God's Legacy, I guess. Just see if we can get some fun duo boons going on. Maybe we could get Parting Shot. Maybe we could get Refreshing Nectar or something. I'm trying to think of the Aphrodite duo boons here. We'll see what happens. I'm going to do 25 heat. This is a build that it's interesting because it's fun and it's good in a way, but it's far from the strongest. But who knows? Maybe I'll be proven wrong one way or the other here. Maybe I'll hate it. Maybe we'll love it. Kind of depends. This is also a build style that allows us to pick up a boon like Exit Wounds and feel pretty good about it. Your cast is a wide, short-range blast that inflicts weak, goes from 50 to 100 damage. Come here, buddy. Got him. All right. Oh, right into Artemis. Okay, here we go. Exit Wounds immediately, please. Now, like with anything here, like what if you watch my videos? Hey, what do you know? Actually, I was gonna say, if you watch a lot of my videos, you might notice that one thing that tends to happen very often in them is that I try really hard to get at least one particular chaos bonus. Like we might roll really hard for it. So if that doesn't happen, then you kind of know that it might not be as crazy as some other runs. Why don't we go for the legendary from Artemis? And like Heartrend is not a big deal. We do want Exit Wounds, but we'll take pressure points as a step toward it anyway, right? But yeah, you can kind of look at if we're doing a build that uses special damage, right? The simplest way to look at extra damage from chaos in the circumstance of it being special would be it's sort of just like an extra boon. You know, you can just kind of tack that onto whatever special boon you got. You know, it's almost like having two special boons, right? So it's obviously a big deal. Come on, give me something useful. 48% cast damage bonus. Cannot attack for a bit. I can, but I won't. That should be fine, right? That's not too bad. We can survive this, I think. Come here, bud. Oh, hey. Now, Crush Shot is interesting. It's a bit jank. You might have even just seen it happen right there, where we seemingly cast directly at an enemy, but if an object is just kind of mildly in the way, or sometimes not even actually in the way, then it will just kind of bonk and just drop on the floor in front of Zagreus. If Zagreus is against a wall, even if Zagreus isn't facing toward it, sometimes that'll just happen. Sometimes this is actually to our benefit, though. So if an enemy is right in front of a wall, we're casting toward the wall and toward the enemy at the same time, the game will inflict the damage to the enemy, but it'll detect that it hit the wall also, so the cast will not lodge. So you get to inflict the damage without actually having to wait for it to dislodge or dislodge it ourselves. Oh, kind of forgot. Go this way. We want a lot of palms on this cast. Yeah, I think we buy it. Zeus, huh? Smoldering Air is the duo boon, which is okay. But only okay, I'd say. No electric shot. So you could just fill like the attack slot here. It's not a bad idea. You definitely don't want to swap. It does add another palmable boon to the pool, which you kind of don't want to have happen, right? But so be it. You didn't have a choice. I think all of Zeus's boons are palmable anyway. Kind of just stuck there. So we don't really care about hammers. Not much, at least. But we should probably get it out of here so it stops appearing. We're probably going to be forced to take it at some point, you know? Ow, ow, ow. Come here, buds. There is that weird follow-up boon. What is it? Blown kiss. None of these really matter. Like, I guess supernova? You know, we don't really plan to use the attack much. It might get used a little bit. Oh my god, so many enemies. Come on. Stop spawning. This is with like 0 jury summons on too. Better have been worth it. Let me out. So yeah, this is definitely not a, you know, like easy 32 heat build or anything like that. This is actually probably pretty challenging to make work just because you could just use Aspect of Hera instead and just have a much better time in general. We definitely want more Artemis boons. Question is, do I buy this stuff, basically? I'm tempted. I'm gonna skip the Meg. So we're looking for support fire or most preferably exit wounds here. You don't really want to put a bunch of palms into exit wounds generally. I see some questions around when do you take Stygian Soul from the mirror? When do you take Infernal Soul? And I think the best, I mean, you can kind of do whatever you feel like you want to do, but I think a good way to think of it, here we go, is if the cast lodges, then you take Infernal Soul, right? Yeah. If the cast does not lodge, so Slicing Shot, Trippy Flare, at least one other I'm not thinking of here, Crystal Beam, you can take Stygian Soul. Stygian Soul is the one where your cast auto regenerates over time instead. Exit wounds online, and we're already most of the way toward the legendary from Artemis. Happy to see Thanatos here, actually.
What do you say
we probably, I don't know, you could sell the attack. It's not enabling any duo boons, but again, I want to make sure we can palm the right things. We kind of got a lot of palmable boons as it is already. So you'd want to do that because the casts that don't lodge, it's often better to just let them auto-regenerate instead, because it would be the same amount of time anyway before they're simply ready, practically. It allows for a higher end. Wow, it hit Crush Shot. That's lucky. It's like a 1 out of 4.
down more than I did. Keep going.
Okay. Yes, sir. And let me hit Crush Shot again, please. Woo! All right, all right. I like it, I like it. Now, I've seen this question asked a few times lately, which is, I mean, it's a common question if you're new to the game, especially after watching me, which is, why do I pause before I choose a door? Sometimes I'll pause at even more random intervals, right? And the simple answer is tight deadline. You know, you can see while you pause the game here in the bottom left, tight deadline is also paused. So that way, when you're competing against the deadline, it's not that big of a deal. Let's go this way. Allows you to stop and think and make your decisions more carefully. Guess we'll do exit wounds there. All right, so I guess we'll put on Artemis's keepsake after this. Yeah. Woo! All right, nice juicy crit from pressure points there, huh? All right. I like. Woo! Eat it, sis. So I guess the question is, should that be the mechanic? So tight deadline pauses after you defeat a boss. I guess you'd have to ask ourselves, why doesn't tight deadline pause after regular enemy encounters and the doors unlock? Why not? I mean, there are things you can do in the room afterward. I'm gonna sell it. I'm gonna sell it. It's not gonna help us besides filling a slot, which might have been important. I'm gonna go with buying that. That one's kind of iffy. So should tight deadline just pause after you defeat the enemies? It's interesting because I'm sure this came about when they were designing the game. I doubt it's just like an overlooked thing where they just didn't think about it. There's no chance, right? They definitely considered it. I mean, this game was in early access for almost 2 years, and this conversation definitely came up very, very often. I remember speaking to the studio director, Amir, and he said that every day he showed up to work, he questioned whether tight deadline should even be in the game or not. And it was really other people that championed it to make it stay in the game. Interestingly. Ooh, flurry cast for fun? It's only common. But it's not likely we'll get better, honestly. Give it to me. Whoa. Here we go. Come on, show me the ledge. Show me the ledge. So now I can just hold down the cast button. I mean, the increased speed isn't that big of a deal, but it's kind of just convenient. Could get us the legendary, but probably not very good in this instance. Woo! There we go. Aha! Wow, one of the earliest you could probably get this to happen, right? Fully loaded. All I can afford is a palm. I mean, I'm not worried about the deadline, but I just don't like doing unnecessary enemy chambers, you know? More Artemis. Okay, so now we can take Hunter's Mark, which would be solid. Might take a core boon otherwise if I have to. I don't even know if it's worth, like, really rolling. Got him. Support fire. It's not very good, right? It's definitely not very good here. I think I'm willing to throw out one roll.
I would like none of these.
Okay. Heartrend would not be especially useful.
Artemis.
14 extra damage per cast. It's just so little compared to a cast that's dealing how much? 600 damage or something like that? 500 damage? Think about that. So yeah, what should they have done in this instance, I wonder? I don't know. Okay. Second Hermes. Oh my god. Okay. Your cast returned to you automatically. I mean, I'm not gonna say no to it, but it's not like the best in this situation, right? Just because we tend to be super close to our casts at all times anyway. But it's another convenience one. It does help. Well, this definitely became a little lucky. I wonder, so there are things to do in the rooms after you defeat the enemies. You got treasure troves, you got Wells of Charon and stuff. Not allowing players to stop and think about the chambers, yeah. I don't know. So the problem is it's just very inconsistent, right? I'd say that's probably the issue. Level 5 cast already, huh? We only have 2 gods? Well, 3 with Zeus in the pool. Maybe I'll put on Poseidon. I'll go this way. Thinking we'll put on Poseidon's keepsake. Wow. Hit pressure points. That's fine. Epic Hunter's Mark is amazing. All right. Somehow got like the full Artemis suite here by quite a bit. I don't know. Like in hindsight, I think a lot of players would have liked it if you just paused it, right? And maybe it made more sense to do it that way. But I guess, you know, it's a panic-inducing pact. It's something that, when you're new to the game, I'm sure, is very difficult to get used to at first. Because you might be used to just kind of like taking your time. Why would you rush, like choosing which door to do? Instead, you got to train yourself to either pause or just choose very, very quickly. I guess the fact that pausing kind of circumvents it, maybe it does mean that the timer should just pause on its own, right? Because what's the point of not pausing the timer if you can circumvent it by just simply pausing the game? Yeah, I don't know.
That's all the heads.
That is close. It is close. It is something that you're kind of incentivizing players to do, to change how they play in order to become better, I guess you could argue. Okay. No? Do we want to go for Mirage Shot or like Parting Shot? Let's go for Mirage Shot. I don't want Poseidon's Dash though,
Closer.
because that might actually knock enemies away when I'm trying to throw the crush shots at them, which have a very short range. Bum, 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 bum. There's also Demeter with like Snow Burst. Keep avoiding the hammers. I'm going to keep avoiding the hammers. Oh, please. God, that took so many casts to get down.
Hit the spot.
It's an interesting design decision. Because I'm sure they thought about it and they decided, you know what? The timer's not going to pause. We're going to make players adjust to this.
Juicy.
There's Poseidon. I guess, yeah, I don't really like the idea. Maybe I'm just kind of beating a dead horse at this point. I don't like the idea that we have to pause, right? It shouldn't be something that we feel like we have to do. And I guess maybe technically you never have to do it, right? So to speak. But it's just one of those tips for if you're starting off with a deadline. You could do the call from Mirage Shot, right? I kind of can't remember. Just want to make sure. Yeah, Poseidon's 8 is on the list. Yeah, I guess we'll take it.
Not now.
Nothing cast related.
Should come in useful.
I'm gonna take the money over Zeus. Just want to make sure we can afford the right things when they come up. Doodle-doo, 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 doodle-doo. Now that's a fun room. You could get Blown Kiss. You could sweet Nectar from Aphrodite here, but I don't want to turn down Patty. Free chamber, you know what I'm saying?
Take care.
We'll take the health return. So we're skipping the mini boss, it looks. Yeah, I think it makes sense. Zeus is back. Don't really care for lightning rod. Sea storm would not be useful. Smoldering air is kind of interesting, but nah, also.
I'll take this one.
Okay. Oh, come on. Cat's just getting stuck at places, you know? I'm sure these were very difficult decisions for them at the end of the day, right? And you can't please everybody. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's not even about pleasing people. It's just about what's right for the game. Sometimes, especially when it comes to difficulty in a game, you can't just give what everyone's asking for. Because typically, a lot of people would ask to skew towards making it easier for the player. And that's not to say that players are, you know, greedy, entitled, or blah, 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 or anything like that. But of course, that's just what they want, because they want to have fun when they play the game. They don't want to be nervous or anxious or scared they're going to lose and all those things, right? More Artemis. Take Zeus first, I guess.
I shall remember this, nephew.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Can you palm Clouded Judgment? I don't know.
Damned either way, I guess.
And maybe we're just thinking too hard about what is just one small mechanic in a very deep and complex game, right? I guess small mechanic doesn't sound right, but one mechanic out of many, dozens, if not hundreds, potentially, right? Yeah. I don't know. Tell me what you think. How should tight deadline work? I think you could think of ways where I don't feel like I have to hit pause here, maybe. Well, okay. You could probably think of ways where you don't have to hit pause, right? Support fire is still terrible. Is it better than Hidebreaker, though? Can't get any dual boons here. We want to get Mirage shot. Could fill in the dash. Do I just fill in the dash here? No one else's dash is very interesting. Unless Athena showed up, which is not possible anymore. Okay, just fill a slot then. Still avoiding hammers. I mean, at the end of the day, I'd imagine the majority of people who have played Hades have probably... maybe we should say the majority of people that have even seen the credits in Hades probably have not really pushed any amount of difficulty. They were happy with seeing the credits and called it a day after that, which there's nothing wrong with. There's lots of games out there, lots of things to play. You know, it makes sense to me to move on. We got money for this. This is fine. Once you've seen the credits, potentially. Okay. Hunter's Mark. I see. Yoink. I think, especially for people like myself and other people who have played the game so much, we kind of forget this a lot of times. You know what I mean? We kind of forget this fact. The majority of players of pretty much any game are people that did not probably play the game all that much, you know? The average player does not have 1,000 hours in any game, you know? The average play time of anyone is probably actually extraordinarily small. Whew, gotcha. Bonk, bonk. 1730. Well, this is working out pretty well. Come on, dude. When do you stop? Can I have those back? Hold on. Got him. Damn, that's juicy. Damn, that's juicy, you know? That worked out pretty well. 2 legendaries, that's all you need. And a dual boon. Let's see. No. It's probably not really worth it. Well, why don't we swap to Charons in case we get some cast stuff? In fact, we could roll here. I think I will be greedy like that, which means I have to skip the Eris Bangle. Nice, we got this. I'll take that even. We don't need the Meg. Now we got 50% cast damage. Hopefully we'll last a Hades. I think if we get more than a 3 sack, it might not last. Maybe it's even more than a 2 sack, I'm not sure. What are some other seemingly strange design decisions in the game? I think one that comes up super often is the Satyr sack thing here in Styx. A lot of people, including myself, feel like it should not really be the way that it is. You know, it should not be just a pure roll of the dice. It should be something that can either be predicted from some kind of advanced knowledge or play, or something that is just a bit more concrete or obvious to players, or maybe some kind of late game unlock that lets you know when that sack be coming. In case you don't know, the simple math is like the odds of getting the sack on the second path in Styx, no matter which doors you take, no matter what the rewards are on the doors or anything like that, it's around 50 to 55% chance. So basically, if you're playing at a very high heat where the deadline is very scary, or if you're just trying to get a very quick run for your own personal gain, right? There's sort of a 50-ish% chance that you'll do okay. at the end of the run. Guess we'll take Heartrend out of these. We could have rolled for like Blown Kiss for something weird, but whatever. More Hermes would probably be not that interesting.
Have to find something for Cerberus.
Let's roll that.
What else we got?
I was hoping to get either exit wounds or the cast again, but we got neither. So these are pretty terrible. Turns out Clouded Judgment is palmable also.
Should check this way.
So, yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of solutions here, and the devs heard it from us. We talked about it quite a bit in early access before the game came out. But they must have felt like that was not what they wanted for the game at the end of the day, right? They must have felt like, despite what everybody was saying, this is something that they wanted to have in the game. And maybe it just comes down to the fact that Hades, when compared to other roguelikes, is actually very lenient when it comes to how many things you can control throughout a run, so to speak. Like, your amount of control on any given run is actually quite high when you compare it to some of the other major roguelikes.
Zesty.
Like, you look at the top roguelikes out there, you got like Risk of Rain 2, you got Binding of Isaac. Those are probably like the biggest, you know. And you get a lot less control there. And things tend to just kind of Jesus Christ. Things tend to just kind of happen in runs, and you just make the best of what you can do, maybe, you know? I don't know. Maybe that's just me projecting. Whereas in Hades, you know, like, I can basically start a run and say, I'm going to use Crush Shot, I'm going to get these dual boons, and it'll probably happen. Very nice. Do we roll it? Could get extra cast damage or an extra cast? Got neither. The health is still okay, I guess. Okay. I could have saved the roll for the palm coming up here. But that seemed more meaningful if we actually got an extra cast or something. Make that the end? Okay. Come on, make that the end, because that way we get to keep both cast damage bonuses? Please, 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 please. Nah, boo this game. So I think when you look at these other games, you know, they take a lot of control away from you in terms of what kinds of power-ups, I guess, you could get in the run is the simplest way to look at it. They try to take that away from you so that you don't really get that control. Instead, you just got to do the best with what you are given, which is kind of different from what they did in Styx here, which is basically like, it might take longer, it might not take longer. That's just totally random. And I'm sure some of the other games I'm talking about, that happens too, right? We've got a game like Slay the Spire too, you know? I mean, I don't know, Slay the Spire is just like too different to really compare, I guess you could say. Pom pom. 33.99. Holy God. Come on, where does it end? When does it end? I mean, I've probably talked this to death, not just in this video, but in general. But you could have a Elysium unlocked that simply tells you where the Satyr Sack is. You know what I mean? And that way you can guarantee it on the second tunnel or whatever. We buy both of these. Kind of don't matter. Special's not going to do anything. Okay. Not bad at all. Too bad we didn't get to keep both cast damage bonuses, but it's still pretty solid, right? Still a lot of damage. I mean, Heartrend goes off if the cast crits even once, and we saw the bongo cast damage from that of like over 3,000. All right, buddy. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Woohoo! Bonk, bonk. Ah.
Useless. Heed now my summons, wretches, and come bring my wayward son down to your depths.
Damn. Woo! How many? Wait, why'd you spin like 3 times in a row, it felt? Am I crazy? Get out of here.
Not yet.
Ah! Greater call. Sure.
You could have avoided
Bonk.
that.
Bonk. Hey. Got him. That's one. I like how I spent this whole time talking about like tight deadline and stuff, but I feel like if you watch a lot of my videos, I probably don't actually talk about the game super often. We're probably talking about pizza toppings or something stupid, you know? Come on. Oh, just stay there, stay there. Yeah, look at it go. That's like the cast registering as hitting a wall. Same thing right here, it looks from this angle. Because I'm like against this stone, maybe? Sort of. I don't care, I'll even lose the health. Oh, well. Maybe that was a bit... Oh, damn, it's lodging now. Can I summon Meg while doing this? We cannot. Interesting. How did that not hit that pot, by the way? Let's see if we can get him to, like, come over here again. Dad? Okay, that was my fault. Bonk, 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 bonk. Bonk, bonk, bonk. That was fun. That was cool, wasn't it?
You learn at some point, you know.
If you have blown kiss, it might help, it might hurt in terms of whether it's lodging or not lodging and all those things, but whew, that was fun. That was a lot of damage by the end, huh?
I did it.
Swiftness of Hermes. The swiftness of Hermes. Huzzah, I say. Hey, put Crush Shot in there. Well, I guess there you go. That's the build, huh? I mean, you could throw exit wounds on here. I don't know if it was really performing that well, because half the time in that fight, they weren't even lodging, right? Exit wounds is kind of hard to exemplify. Like, you might get some passive damage out of it, but it's hard to, like, really make it the focus. Oh, we don't even have Heartrend on here, I just realized. Forget exit wounds, put our Heartrend. Shazam! Anyway, hope you all enjoyed it. That was a fun run. Crush Shot, Poseidon Sword, etc. Like, comment, subscribe if you got any questions about the game, about, you know, Scooby-Doo, the movie. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.